This channel supports Extra Life in its efforts to raise money for the Children's Miracle Network. For more information about how to donate and join in their efforts, go to the link displayed here. Extra Life. Play games, heal kids. What up, everybody? This your boy Black Megas, and it's a beautiful Sunday morning. I don't know if you guys can hear them in the background, but the birds are chirping. I'm eating bacon. It's a lovely Sunday morning. So, it's getting pretty much time for us to start indulging into the E3 hype, as everybody's press conference, at least all the major console developers and most of the usual suspects who show up, plus a couple of others, have all announced their E3 conference dates and times. We have Sunday, June 14th, a newcomer, Bethesda. They're doing a conference at 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern. Monday, of course, is the big day. You got Microsoft, 9:30 a.m. Pacific, 12:30 Eastern. EA at 1 Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern. Ubisoft, 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern. And then Sony closing out the first day as usual, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. Of course, some of them I'm sure are going to have their usual events like Sony with the theaters and all of that. So check that out on an individual level. And then Tuesday, Nintendo's doing their Direct at 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern. Square Enix an hour later at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern, a newcomer. And then the PC Gaming Show is going to be at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. Funny because the website I'm looking at actually has 8 p.m. Pacific. It's like, nah. Y'all meant Eastern. Typo. Gotta fix your shit. Anyway, so that's the rundown of all the big conferences. Of course, there'll be booths, there'll be announcements, there'll be coverage of all types of things going on, as E3 is a big 4-day event during the week. So now that everything's been set in place, all the pieces of the puzzle are set, let's talk about E3 and what we could possibly expect, predictions, things like that. Okay, so we all believe that Bethesda is only showing up because they're about to announce Fallout 4. I have to believe that is their main reason, because Bethesda has never at all had a reason to do their own conference. They've never been a company that had dropped, and at least in my opinion, they've never dropped enough games to warrant that. Now, could this mean that they're going to ramp themselves up a bit and try to be on the level of a Ubisoft or EA, who puts out countless titles a year, have tons of studios that work for them, things like that, and always have something to display? Who knows? I mean, you think about Bethesda, you think about the Elder Scrolls series, Fallout. There's not that many properties under their belt that we're like dying to see. So what are they bringing to the table? Are they going to start establishing those other properties now? And to be fair, they do have other stuff, because they do have the id stuff. They are supposed to have Doom, because they publish their games now, so maybe we're going to see some Doom. Again, we're all expecting Fallout 4. Maybe they're going to announce another Elder Scrolls game, a sequel to Skyrim. Maybe this is why. Maybe they do have a ton of stuff planned, and maybe they have some new IPs that they want to throw out there in the mix as well. You never know, but I have to feel like they're doing this for more than just to make this a Fallout extravaganza, because this could have been done at anybody's conference, or this could have just been done at a special briefing, a Twitch event, or what have you. So curious to see what Bethesda's going to do. And I have to say, Squaresoft too has me curious. The Squaresoft, they've been in a bit of a financial funk lately. Now, Square does have a good amount of properties to talk about, so that may be why they're doing theirs, but I'll get back to them just in a bit. I'm gonna try to do these in a row. So Microsoft, of course, Microsoft has been making a lot of noise about this being one of the greatest gaming conference ever, that they're going to have new IPs, that they're going to pretty much shake up the world with their conference. They're banking on this being a huge success. They really feel like what they're going to represent is going to knock everything out the park and make their competition a little worried. That's good. That's a healthy attitude to have. You know, you want to display yourself as the best. Now, are they going to execute? What could they do to make good on this promise of greatest game conference ever? Well, they said new IP, so that's good. Microsoft claimed when they first announced the Xbox One that they had 13, 14 studios working on different things, and we haven't really seen a lot from those different studios from them. So let's see what they bring. They have announced stuff out there that they haven't really shown a lot. Crackdown hasn't been really talked about. What was the name of that? Gosh, I just forgot the name. I almost called it Deadly Premonition, but it's not Deadly Premonition. But the studio that got shut down that was working on that game, they have to address that issue, and we have to see if that's still coming. There's the Kamiya game from Platinum that's out there. They could show a little more. Of course, now that they have Windows 10, they can start pushing really hard, because Windows 10 will be out about a month after E3. So they need to push that really hard, the whole cross-platform thing. That's something that they think is going to be a big component of selling the Xbox One. Well, show it to us. Let us see it. Let us see it in full action. You have the Fable Legends game. Let's see how that works. See how the older stuff is going to work with that. They could show that. Gears, of course, a lot of people are expecting a lot of Gears news to come out of here. A collection, although the rumor has been that they're only doing the first Gears and they're going to do them individually, which I think would be a big mistake. If you just do the Marcus Phoenix stuff in a collection, I think you'll be better served. One-offs, no. Sony's already making that mistake with God of War 3. Microsoft, don't be idiots like they are in that aspect, please. Do a collection for the Gears of War series. And of course there's been talk of the Battletoads. I don't think that's a big enough IP for them to top that out there. They need to show Tomb Raider. Tomb Raider hasn't really been talked about that much either. It's supposed to be out this year, so let's see what's going on with Tomb Raider. You know, they have that deal with Square for the temporary exclusivity for it, so make good on it, because that's a big fall game that you could throw out there to help push more units during the holidays. So let us see with that. Of course, Halo 5. Expect to see some Halo 5, of course. And then of course, the new IPs thing. I would be happy if the new IPs were non-shooters. I think one of the things that has always kept me away from the Xbox is I don't think that their IPs are diverse enough. I think it's like Halo, Gears, and then maybe Fable. And while Fable is a non-shooter, for the most part, Xbox is carried by shooters. If they could diversify their library enough, they could win a lot of people back into their folds, because not everybody wants to just play shooters. I know a lot of people, that's the mentality for a ton of people these days, but I just think that Microsoft would be better served if they would just show that they support every genre in their exclusive library. I think that would be a big win for them if they can do that. So let's see if they're able to do that. Now, EA, of course, expect to see Battlefront. Expect to see a lot of Battlefront, to be quite honest. Mirror's Edge has been quiet. Now that Battlefront is winding down, I think DICE can start the push on that game a little bit more. So we'll see if they'll do that. Of course, there's the creators of Burnout. They're working on something that we only saw concept stuff. Are we going to see something real from them? I just have a feeling there's going to be another Battlefield announced. I don't think it's going to be announced for release this fall, but just I think they're going to make us aware of Battlefield 5 or whatever they're going to call it, to be quite honest. I also think they have another shooter in the mix, because Medal of Honor was supposed to be that replacement series and it didn't work out for them. I have a feeling that they're going to still try to find that replacement series to fill the void for Medal of Honor in the fight against Call of Duty, which I think is very stupid, but hey, it is what it is. Of course, I want to see some Mass Effect. I think a lot of people are dying for Mass Effect 4, so I want to see something on that. I wouldn't be surprised if they announced another Crisis either, or another Dead Space. EA has a lot of big properties that they could throw back out in the mix. Not sure if they necessarily need to be like Dead Space and Crisis, but they can do that and they can flesh things out. I also want to see another Star Wars game. They have that property. We got Battlefront. I think right now would be the perfect time for them to say, hey, and we're gonna have this Star Wars game coming in 2016. That would be awesome if I got that Amy Hennig project that she's working on with Visceral. Hopefully we'll get the hear that. But other than that, Need for Speed, of course, Madden, FIFA, the usual suspects. Madden, FIFA, NBA Live. Let's see how much of a mess Live may be this year. Although it was an improved mess last year. Let's see if they improve it even more. But that's pretty much what I expect from EA as a whole. Ubisoft. Ubisoft, of course, they're taking a little heat for delaying The Division. I'm comfortable with it, like I said in a separate video. They have a lot of properties coming out. They have Rainbow Six. They have Assassin's Creed. They, of course, not that anybody cares, but they have the Just Dance game coming out this fall. And Yves Guillemot said there's another title. I don't know if he means it's coming out this year or not, but there's another IP that's going to be dropping. And to be fair, they have other IPs that they can work on too. Maybe a Ghost Recon game, another Rayman game would be cool. Of course, they're going to have something with Watch Dogs 2. There is going to be a Watch Dogs 2. We know that's going to happen. And they could also introduce new properties. They have a lot going on. They definitely have a lot going on. So I'm going to be curious to see just how big and crazy their conference is. Of course, they'll probably have Aisha Taylor again. So get ready for the craziness and profanity, people. But I'm hoping that with the delay of The Division, they'll at least show something, just to like show us that, hey, we all know that y'all thinking this is like gloom and doom, and the delay means that there's actually something wrong. But no, there's nothing wrong here. Take a look. The game looks great. So I want to see something like that. But yeah, I expect Ubisoft to have a good show. Hopefully these games will come out complete and don't have serious issues, as Ubisoft have been known to do of late. Sony, of course, being last. I feel like Sony always has the best opportunity to put on the best show, only because they're so far behind their biggest competitor, Microsoft, that they can plan their show with contingencies. Whereas Microsoft is way earlier in the day, Sony is actually in the evening. There's about a good 5 hour difference, 5-6 hour gap in between their shows. So if Microsoft does something like that just blows our mind, I feel like Sony can kind of hit a button and go to a plan B. I think that's kind of unfair that they have that big divide between them, because Sony could just plan 3 different shows, and then whichever one they feel will trump what Microsoft did, they can just go with that. But I don't know. I doubt they do that, but I would probably try to do something where Not with, you know, the third party people. Third party stuff will stay the same, but I would, you know, make that decision like, what am I going to throw out ourselves that's going to, like, you know, blow things out of the water. But that's just me. That would be my strategy for that. Anyway, Sony needs to announce some of their other IPs. I'm not one of those people who feel like they're in a panic and they need to start dropping names of exclusives that are coming. But as a gamer, I want to hear that. That's what I want to hear. From a business perspective, they're doing so well that they can sit on a lot of their bigger stuff for later. And I feel like that's what Sony wants to do. I feel like Sony is getting into a place now where E3 and Gamescom, because they pretty much dropped out of Gamescom this year, I feel like they feel these conferences aren't where we need to make our biggest impact. They're the big, better name things, but we can probably shine better and have a bigger reaction at venues where we're the spotlight. And I think that's one of the reasons why they pulled out of Gamescom and went to that Paris show. So they want to find a more isolated event where people won't be expecting something. So when we hear something huge, it will go over even bigger because we weren't looking for it. Whereas E3, we're all sitting here, we're just wondering, we're clamoring for news and expecting, you know, something spectacular. And it's just standard fare right now. E3, you know, it's just the more known platform. I feel like when I can catch you off guard, I can get a better reaction from you. And I think that's what Sony is thinking with moving out of Gamescom and things like that, and establishing their own Sony experience and things like that. I think Microsoft is going to have to do that as well, establish their own experience and give people their own spotlight show so they could just shine on their own. But I do expect to hear something like, I know we're going to hear about God of War 3. Okay, cool. We'll get to see that. Hopefully, they'll follow that with Santa Monica announcing something else. And I don't want it to be a new God of War. No. I wish that new IP they were working on would have been able to come to light, because I want to see them branch off a bit and go somewhere else, like how Naughty Dog did with The Last of Us. Speaking of Naughty Dog, I do expect to hear an Uncharted collection, since Uncharted 4 has been delayed. I want that because I'm an Uncharted fan, but I prefer to get Uncharted 4. That being said, I just feel like that's something that's coming down the pipeline. Bend, Guerrilla Games, and one more studio. Well, I said Santa Monica. They're supposed to be working on new IPs. Let's see what they got. San Diego Studios got the Kill Strain, or is it Kill Strain? They've been showing it around lately, but they have that to display. Media Molecule probably is going to have a new property to show us outside of the Tearaway that's supposed to be coming to the PS4. I feel like they're going to have something. See, Sony has so many studios that they can at any moment decide to drop something. And I also feel like we're going to see a new Ratchet & Clank, since the movie has had a release date. I feel like Insomniac's going to come back and do another Ratchet & Clank. That's going to come through. But yeah, Sony has so many studios out there that they can go anywhere they want. That being said, are they going to use E3 as a platform? That's my biggest worry, is that Sony's just not going to ignore E3. Well, it's not a worry, but that's the biggest worry that I think people should have about this if you're expecting something big from Sony. They seem to be preferring these other venues, these other platforms, these other ways of getting over, not just E3. I think E3 for them is important, but it's not as important as other things. So we'll see what Sony's going to do. Now the next day, Nintendo's doing their Direct. Don't expect a lot from Nintendo. I kind of wish they were bringing Zelda this year, but they're not. Maybe we'll see some Zelda stuff to show us the direction of that. They have to show Star Fox. They still haven't said that Star Fox wasn't coming, and they promised us that Star Fox was coming in 2015. Where's this footage of Star Fox? You gotta show Star Fox, Nintendo. Of course, Splatoon is gonna be there. I'm sure there's gonna be a new Mario game because there's always a new Mario game. I want to see some more IPs come out. Metroid, bring back some of your older stuff, dude. Like Metroid, Excitebike, Nintendo. See, where Sony has all these studios out there working on things that they just haven't announced, Nintendo has all these properties that we have no clue if they're even going to go back to them, and that they seem to ignore, and that they could bring back that will do really well for them. It's crazy. It exasperates me how Nintendo just wants to continually just put out Mario related content over and over again. Don't get it. Don't get it. I'd be curious to see any third party stuff too. I believe they said they weren't going to have anything about the NX really, so don't hold your breath about the new console that they come out with, but it would be great to see a big deal made over the next Nintendo console. But following that, Square Enix, like I said, they are another company that they have a good bit of properties. They have the Tomb Raider game, they have the Final Fantasy series, they have some properties that they probably haven't touched in years that they could probably go to. Of course, we know Deus Ex is coming out. They're probably going to show some of that as well. Final Fantasy 15, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing a lot of that show up. They're poised for a very good year with Final Fantasy, Deus Ex, and the Tomb Raider game for the Xbox One. And so I guess I kind of understand them having this show. That being said, I'm kind of still in the area I am with Bethesda, whereas while they definitely have probably more IPs that they could show than Bethesda could, I don't see their necessity of them having their own separate show. There has to be something big brewing, and that's the only thing that I could think of. Maybe we're going to see Kingdom Hearts 3, cross your fingers, maybe, possibly. I don't know, but they have to have a big moment, a show-stopping moment, for them to want to separate themselves and do their own show. And of course, we have the PC gaming show. I'm not familiar with any big PC stuff coming on separate right now. I don't know. I'm wondering who's got the next big PC thing that's coming. Are we going to see Valve finally say, hey bitches, here you go. I know you've been asking for it. Shut the hell up now. We have it for you. Half-Life 3. I think that would be great if the PC show got something big like that. But I don't really expect that much coming from it outside of the hardware realm. We know Nvidia is going to have something new to display. Nvidia always does. AMD probably has some new hardware stuff. Me personally, I'm curious in the tech and see where we're going in the next year or two with the tech. Mind you, a lot of the tech that we're going to get is going to be stuff that we probably won't really utilize to the fullest for another 5 years, but I'm a geek enough that I'm interested in the tech, so looking forward to that. That's pretty much E3 in a nutshell as far as the conference goes. Now individual stuff we're gonna see, hey, I'll save that for another video. In fact, I'll just save that for E3, but I'm not looking at this E3 as being that big of a deal. I don't know how monumentous this is going to be this year, to be quite honest. There's nothing out there that has me feeling, outside of like the Fallout 4 thing, there's nothing that I feel like is going to happen that's just going to shake the pillars of the earth. A lot of the stuff we kind of are expecting, like from the big ones, we're expecting the Zelda's games, we're expecting the Gears games, we're expecting the Uncharted games. You know, it's nothing out there that I feel like Nintendo, Microsoft, or Sony at the moment has in their pocket that's going to really blow the socks off of things. I know Microsoft said this is going to be the best thing ever. I have a hard time believing that, because again, the things that they're big for, we kind of expect. So I'm very, very curious as to what they can do that's going to like just amaze the hell out of us, like they want to. So I don't know. We shall see. Anyway, you guys hit me up. Let me know what you think, and I'll holler at you later. This your boy Black Makers, and I'm out. Deuces.